Welcome back to Grassroots Radio Colorado on KLZ 560. This is Kris Cook. We've got Cori and Andy Pate of the Party of Choice sitting in studio with me, and we're talking about how to turn around this Democrat machine that continues to grind out poverty throughout this nation. Mm-hmm. How's that for a visual? So before we went to break, we were talking about, this back to business program that you've come up with, and how to really honestly transition people off of government assistance and get them back on their feet and independent. And my question to you is, when you speak to liberals about this program,
they like it.
Okay. Do you speak to welfare recipients about this program?
No, I don't know any.
Okay.
I got to be honest. I come from academia.
Right.
So this is something that I've talked about, in the break room at work and stuff like this, because it's not really politics. It's just helping people. It's I don't mention Democrat, Republican, nothing like that. And I would talk with people who I knew were Democrats, liberals. Kris, virtually 100% independent, Democrat, Republican across the board. Right. Loved the idea. I had people who said, my gosh, when I was out of work, I would have loved something like this just to keep me in the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then I wouldn't, and then there were people who were just like, then I wouldn't have felt so bad about taking a welfare check. There's another thing. I wouldn't have felt so bad about it, and also it wouldn't feel so permanent.
Right.
So yeah, I heard virtual unanimous agreement, because here's the thing. People know what it's like. The longer you're away from the workplace, the more afraid you become of it.
True. It becomes a foreign place.
Yeah. And would it be neat for business leaders to also know that they can be involved in getting people back in business?
Right.
See, right now the only way they can be involved in it is to give somebody a job for full upfront. This is
Someone
why
untested who may or may not have the skills.
This is why I get so angry at places like Seattle. It's $15 an hour. Okay, that's a great idea. Let's cut the bottom rungs off the ladder of success.
Exactly.
And make it more expensive to give somebody a chance and get their feet back out there. My gosh, what a horrible thing to do to people.
It's exactly the 180 degrees from what is needed. And that's the thing that's so frustrating.
Right. And here's the thing. These people, They come to resent the rich because the rich become more and more and more and more distant. They don't understand job creation. They don't understand the business world.
Okay.
You got to get them hooked on capitalism. We can do that.
Well, you got to teach it. I mean, I used to volunteer. I actually used to work for Junior Achievement, and I volunteered for Junior Achievement in the schools and taught that. Part of the problem, we were talking during the break, I mean, you've got to remain engaged with these kids, and when you're doing this kind of education, you're doing this kind of mentoring, you have to remain engaged. And I cannot express how much I love Junior Achievement's program. It's really, really, really freaking awesome. But it is a week.
It's not enough.
Once a week for 5 weeks. And that's, it's not enough.
It isn't. And, when I worked with the inner city students, the biggest thing that we could do was be there.
Yeah.
It was about building relationships. It was about being consistent. It was about loving them no matter what.
Yeah.
And as conservatives, I think that that's what we have to remember with anything that we're talking about, especially with this population. They've been taught not to trust us.
Right.
The only way you can build trust is by building a relationship. You have to show up. You have to be present. And you can't just drop your idea or your policy change and leave. You have to follow up. A lot of these people don't understand how much potential they have, and they need you to walk them through it. They need you to encourage them when it's hard to go to work, to be there for them and say, tell me about it. How was your day? Okay, you know what? It's going to get better. I'm here for you. That's what they need to hear. Right. And that's how we can start to change the dialogue on this issue of poverty.
All those people that you see running around in Baltimore, there's no light in their eyes. They've never been needed.
Right.
They've never mattered.
Right.
That is what brings the light in their eyes. You got to give them a flicker, folks, before they can have a bonfire in their eyes, not in their streets.
I think that's part of the reason, too, why what happened with Toya Graham and her son has caught on across the nation and gone viral the way that it has, because it is so obvious how much she cares for her son, and she enough to beat the living crap out of him on
live television.
On live television, and to say you are better than this, and to communicate it forcefully, that you are better than this, and I believe in you more than this, and that's that kind of hope, that kind of love, is hopefully without the.
Toya Graham was saying to her son, basically, all these people who are running with you think nothing of you.
Right.
I think you have potential. I'm going to bat your head right out of there.
Right.
Okay? I'm going to cuff you in the head. That's what they used to do in my age group. Okay? Well, what's the matter with you?
Right. Right.
Toya Graham looks at her son and sees a future. She wants to see a future. She doesn't see it because of what they're living in.
Yeah.
But she sees a future. She doesn't just see another body that can be running around right now and making our mob bigger.
Right.
Okay, that's what they see. And what we need to be telling people is this. When the Democrats look at you, they see somebody who can need them. They see somebody who can be a voter for them, who they can buy with other people's money.
Right.
Because they won't even use their own. That's what they see. When I look at you, I see somebody who can probably do a heck of a lot of things I can't. I see somebody, I want to need you. Yeah, I want you to have the money too. They want you to have the money, I want you to have the money. We're even. I want you. I want not only you just to need you, self-sufficient, not good enough. I want me to need you. I want that business to need you. I want that customer to need you. I want people to get hooked on needing you. I want them to want you to show up. And then watch the light come on in your eyes.
Right. But the politicians need me.
Yeah, they do. Right now, the politicians really do need you. How's that been going? How's that Hopey Changey thing working out for you?
Exactly.
Yeah. Hopey Changey doesn't work out. You want to know why? Because Hopey Changey is words. They give you words, and then you give them votes, and then 50 years later, you're 15 trillion further in debt, and nothing has gotten better. Why? Because if you have no purpose, you will continue needing them, and you can never go forward when needing other people. You can only go forward when others need you.
It's a concept I had never really processed before. I really like that.
Well, I just, oh my gosh, when I was a manager with theaters in the Midwest, we had really young kids work there, 14 and 15-year-olds. That's since in Kansas City. That's part of the law. They can only work 18 hours a week.
Okay.
It was wonderful. You were talking about junior achievement?
Yeah.
This is in the workplace. They were wonderful. They were
14 and 15-year-olds?
Oh, they were fantastic. They were our best employees a lot of times. Okay? Although they didn't become bad. They stayed good. And they were multiracial. Didn't matter. They came from all kinds of backgrounds. The ones who came from tough backgrounds, guess what? I made them managers. I made them into supervisors. You want to know why? Because they wouldn't baby their fellow employees.
Yeah.
They were tougher. I would look at some of these rough kids and I would say, you know what I see in you? I see a leader. Too many people become a manager and they get pushed over or they power trip. You seem to get it. I already see people follow you around. You're a leader. You want to be one? Do you want to be a leader that matters? I'll show you how. And I did. And it was exciting and it was fun. Folks, free enterprise is fun. Free enterprise says...
It is.
Yes, free enterprise. This is why I love free enterprise. You know what? Everybody hates the rich. Let me tell you what free enterprise means. You know how the rich get rich? Through serving.
Right.
Yeah, because here's how the rich get rich. The one has to serve the many. The one has to serve the many. That person, how do you get rich? You invent cell phones, and then everybody has an entire world walking around in their hands. You get rich by being great at basketball. You get rich at running McDonald's. You get rich because the one serves the many in capitalism. And you get rich in socialism by seizing it. So in capitalism, you get rich by serving. In socialism, you get rich by seizing. Mm-hmm. Those people don't get a dime of your money unless you give it to them.
Right.
In capitalism.
Right.
I love it. And guess what? I want you in their businesses, learning their world, becoming what you can be, which is probably even better than them.
Exactly. Wow. This is powerful stuff, man.
I was raised as a commie.
He's not kidding.
I know. That was one of the most impassioned defenses of capitalism that I've heard in a while. I mean, I
get a little too emotional on it. I really do. I get a little. I can't help it.
I don't think there's any such thing.
I see the light in these kids' eyes, and I've seen it come on in people's eyes, and I can't tell you, I'm hooked on it.
Exactly. Well, and it is the solution. It is the only solution that will work to pulling people out of poverty, to creating a prosperous nation, to creating a strong and secure nation. It's the key. This is the key that unlocks all of the rest of that. And that's something that these liberal talking heads don't get. These MSNBC idiots don't get. And they just want to foment, horrible things within our society and not take us anywhere positive. Capitalism takes us there.
Right. And that's why it's not a news story.
Yeah.
It doesn't keep them in their chairs reporting on the news.
That's a very good point.
And it all starts where you started at the beginning. I asked you, how do you feel when you watch all these people yelling and screaming and blaming everyone but themselves, blaming everyone but the inner cities and all this kind of stuff? Most of us are angry, and so we don't want to talk to them.
Right.
You said, I'm sad. What you're saying is you want to see the light come on in their eyes.
Oh, God, do I. Oh, God, do I. I can't communicate how much I want to see that.
Well, conservatives everywhere, crucify yourself. Be like Kris.
Crucify. That's a good one.
Let me tell you something. The anger is justifiable that we feel.
Sure.
It's justifiable. Get past it. Don't forget, they are more valuable than winning an argument.
I'm in this because it is the best, most moral system. I am in this to restore the republic because of that. That's why you hear what you hear from me. Mm-hmm. That's why we do it. Cori and Andy Pate, the party of choice. Thank you guys so much for coming on the program tonight. Finally, we got Cori back. I'm so glad.
Me too.
And I will be back here tomorrow evening. We have Alex Hornaday from the Log Cabin Republicans is going to be joining me for the whole hour. And so this is going to be a very, very fun interview. Been looking forward to this a lot. Thank you guys so much for joining me on Grassroots Radio tonight. And remember, America is great because Americans are great. So go out there and be exceptional. Exceptional. Exceptional.